game. Vigar, Shen, Nunu. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Shen, they really need to ban out a Shen. They can't let themselves fall behind early like they did.
Well, I mean, it's
Maybe ban the Alistar.
Alistar absolutely warrants the ban. I mean, Alistar.
Oh, yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's why it's first ban there. So, I mean, Shen though. Shen, I still think warrants the ban because he's such a versatile pick. Because he can go top, or he can go jungle, and just all that presence really just negated out the split push that Shyvana was trying to do. But you know what? That's in the past. There's still another set. There's still another chance. Alistar, Nocturne, Karth is going to be the bans for MTW.
Yeah, now Urgot is still available, so we'll see whether or not Curse bans that out, leaves it up. They could pick Urgot here. They could go with, there's a couple of champs. Yeah, Urgot. So Urgot makes the most sense. Against that, they could choose their AD if they like, go with an Ezreal. They pick the Shen. Actually, Shen is still available. Yep. So Shen and Ezreal would definitely make sense, unless they want to grab the Nunu. They've been playing Nunu this entire time. They could grab that. Though, at the same time, Urgot's not going to pair with Nunu, so if they want to grab someone like Ezreal, they can kind of decide on what support they want to run.
Yeah, so you just make a support decision just based on where you're.
Or just Shyvana Shen.
Whoa, that was a huge burp! Wow.
No, that's fine.
I haven't even eaten it yet. So there's Shen. There's possibly Yorick as well. It's Soraka's open.
Yeah, the Yorick pick really doesn't make any sense, so I doubt that's going to be the case. But
yeah.
Shen does. We'll see. I think it's going to be a Shen, Shyvana, or Nunu. So, we can kind of see what's going to go on. If they have a team comp in mind for the Yorick, okay, good.
There's the Nunu.
So switch off the Nunu. You could. Yorick's not like a terrible pick. You can play Yorick in a lot of situations. The thing is, Yorick is usually, one, to counter out someone in the top lane. You want to just shut them down because Yorick can lane safely against anyone and bullies around some people. And then two, that you have an AD that's going to be able to farm pretty easily, and you have a team kind of built around it. It's not a first pick.
Yeah.
Nunu definitely works. They've been running almost the same comp the entire time, a number of, or at least in the bot lane, going for the Janna. So that's definitely strong. They had kind of run that earlier. They could pick up for their jungles. They could go with the Shyvana themselves, or with like a Mundo or something.
Mundo, I'd be hesitant to take the Mundo because Mundo didn't really work too well for Dynamic.
Oh, Malphite. That's
early
actually
on. Malphite is open. He's a pretty good pick. Yep. He's a pretty good top laner. He's a pretty good jungler as well. Actually, I don't think it'd be too far-fetched actually to see Malphite in the jungle this game.
Yeah, no, that's true. Malphite is really strong. One of the issues that he's going to have is the fact that Shen beats Malphite in the top lane. But it's not, that bad. Malphite can lane against really anyone, and then mid-game, they just need to win fights. So we'll see what they end up with. Morgana definitely makes sense, Morgana being open, and they can go with the Vayne. So Vayne and Nunu in the bottom lane, and then having the Morgana, so they have a protect the carry comp.
Vayne Nunu versus that Urgot. Been seeing that quite a bit today. Actually, most games. It's been a pretty popular combo. Yep. But Morgana sealed for the mid lane, going to be very passive farming. So it's just a matter of just Ahri actually has been banned out too. So I'm just thinking about other APs that MTW can go with.
They could go with Vladimir and just decide to pick out their two lanes right here, because I think otherwise MTW will probably pick the Vladimir.
Yeah, Cassiopeia is banned out too. I don't know, Orianna might be a possibility too, just more CC stacked on top of Malphite. Just throw the ball on the Malphite, ult in. You can also just Orianna ult to follow that up with. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Mordekaiser, wow. Way. So this is actually a really nice comp. We'll see how they run it.
Yeah.
Yorick would be kind of unusual. I don't think they're going to run a Yorick, but it would work.
Well,
so, I mean, it turns it into a 7v4 situation, which is the idea of running a Yorick coupled with a Mordekaiser. And they know that they have enough burst damage, they have enough single target, where if they can kill Vayne, that can work. Vladimir makes a little bit more sense. Having a double AP makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
Unless they want to pick their jungle. But I think, like you said earlier, Malphite will probably be in the jungle.
Yeah. So Mordekaiser, though, so what he does, he's naturally going to be pushing. So if you what are you going to do if you want to try and deny Morgana farm? Well, you just force the wave to push into tower. But that's the thing, though, is that I'm not sure how well he's going to be faring against the rest of Curse. Like, as soon as, granted, Mordekaiser, he's going to win the lane. I'm not so sure if he's going to win the game, though.
Well, the big thing with the Mordekaiser pick is he can farm very safely. That's why people like Scar really like Mordekaiser, because they just want to sit there and farm for a while. But he can farm safely, and then the idea is to just insta-kill Vayne. And if they can get a Ghost of Vayne, then they can win,
huge.
because Curse is already built into a protect the carry comp. So, kill the Vayne, save the world.
Yeah.
So they can, kind of run that way. They are taking the Yorick.
So now they want to protect the Vayne. So that's
100% for the Vayne. They want the ghost of that Vayne on their own team. Should be kind of interesting. Yorick also does pretty well against Rumble in the top lane. Rumble early levels is kind of weak, whereas Yorick's strong, so he can kind of push him around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing to consider is that Yorick, Rumble early on, he needs to farm with his harpoons for the most part, and Yorick can block the harpoons with his ghouls.
Yes.
He can, if Rumble tries to come in head-to-head for some of that damage, Yorick can just, duel with him. The AoE, it will clear out the duels later in the game, and eventually Rumble has enough damage where he can just, chase down Yorick and pick up kills. So that's a concern for Yorick. But early on, he can kind of shut Rumble out of the lane and slow down his farming significantly.
So also, we've seen quite a bit of Urgot today. I don't know, really, when you start hitting those team fight phases too, You know what? Never mind. I was gonna go off on a tangent there. I have no idea what I was talking about. Yeah, Curse. They're really. I like these picks. Protecting the Vayne. Hopefully, they can do a good enough job of doing so. But there's a lot of. That's a lot of a front line to try and get through. And as you saw last game, Elements with Nunu, his ults were on point.
Yeah,
every single engagement.
Rumble's ultimate is perfect for someone like Vayne. I mean, just the long-range initiation, it will be very nice. They have a ton of burst damage. mTw does with their AoE. So, if they can start to snowball the fights, then that'll work out very nicely for them. But Mordekaiser is actually pretty squishy early on. So, a lot of times you kind of overestimate how tanky he is. He will go down pretty quickly in a fight. But, I don't know, if they can, it really just comes down to whether or not mTw can take out Vayne and whether Curse can keep Vayne alive. And also, Vayne is able to farm. So if Vayne's not able to farm in the bottom lane, if Balls can take an advantage with the Urgot pick, then it all might be a moot point. And then you also have to consider the fact that Malphite, can counter out Vayne so aggressively, and you have the Malphite ultimate. Malphite and Mordekaiser, they have so much burst damage, but Malphite, he has the attack speed slow. He can engage right on top of Vayne, and there's not a lot that Vayne can do about it.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully, and that's the thing too. Vayne once again going with the cleanse. There's actually here there's a pretty good purpose, because there is the stun coming in from Taric, and if Vayne doesn't get away quick following that stun, then there's a swap, then there's ults, and then there's just a lot of damage. But as we said before, that cleanse doesn't do anything against the swap though. And as soon as Balls hits 6, he's going to be looking for that, and pretty much in every opportunity.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think one nice thing about having the Morgana along with the Shen is they can, kind of chase Mordekaiser down, try and pick up a kill there. If he's trying to farm in particular, that's always a situation you can catch Mordekaiser out of position when he's trying to steal your rates. If you can, pick him out. The issue is I'm not sure if they'll have enough damage. So, Morgana, she can chase him down, throw off her ultimate, and, get some nice quick burst damage while he can't respond at all. But then he's going to have his heal, and, it's just going to be tough to say whether or not he has enough damage. So, or enough shield potential, or if they have enough damage to take down his shield and everything. So we'll have to watch for that. Bot lane, again, Urgot swap with Vayne, free kill every single time.
So I've seen there's been a lot of pros that comment on Yorick. And I remember, Nick Allen and I were talking about this a little bit a while ago on stream, and he's just kind of anti-fun.
Yeah.
Can we go a little bit deeper into that?
Well, the big thing with Yorick is his ghouls. They're just kind of there. As Yorick, it's not fun to throw out his ghouls. You kind of throw them out, and they sit there, and I don't know. You're kind of depressed. And at playing against Yorick, he throws out the ghouls, and you don't get any benefits for killing them. They take a little bit to die, 1v1 or something like that. In team fights, AoE just instantly kills them, and they're worthless. In 1v1 and stuff like that, there's so strong. There's no reason to kill him. All you can do is run away from Yorick. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a weird mechanic. I think a lot of Riot agrees too. They've made posts and whatnot about how Yorick is not the best design champion, to say the least.
Mm. But no, I will say though, I personally, well,
Don't say you like Yorick.
I like Yorick.
Oh, come
I
on.
do like Yorick, but the thing is though, I do know that I'm actively making my opponent's game less fun though.
Have you ever played Yorick support?
No, I haven't.
Okay, if you've ever played Yorick support, or worse yet, if you've played against Yorick support, you would understand, some of the reasons why Yorick is just not fun. Because I know Curse has actually played Yorick support before in competitive settings. You can just constantly spam off your heal and whatnot against ranged carries, and there's just nothing that they can do about it. All they can do is kind of run away, and it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of shitty.
Yeah, I don't think I'm high enough elo to ever really run into Yorick support. And even then, like whenever I do, I'm so glad too that with the dodging mechanic too, because I was playing a game the other night. I was like, any support? I'm like, no, that's not happening.
And secretly, you would have won that game because
I highly doubt it.
Annie would have carried you so hard. People who play unconventional supports usually know what they're doing.
I checked his match history. He had one game played as Annie in ranked, and it was a loss. So I think I made the right decision.
Because his team got angry and trolled him because they were like, "Oh, you're not supposed to play support."
Yeah, it's getting to that part of the night, folks. It's starting to get there.
Let's not talk about that anymore.
Let's not talk about unpleasant things.
We have a game here. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Balls, Muffin Cutie, they will have some nice control over the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Vayne and Nunu, if they can avoid some of the damage from Urgot, or if they can avoid the Acid Hunter, then they can actually exchange that very well, and actually turn around onto Urgot. So that should be kind of interesting. But the big thing is just how successfully they can farm and whether or not Balls can get off to a good start. So we'll have to see. They have 3 champions on their team that could snowball early and have such strong killing potential that they can try and pick up those kills and get the game rolling in their own manner.
So, yep, we're going on in, loading on in. If you are just joining us, Curse has successfully reset the bracket. So that means we're going into another best of 3. The winner of this set emerges first seed going into IPL Face Off and an extra $1,000. Always a good thing. We are here now into the game, ready to go. And so now we got the jungles going on, and I don't think we're going to be... Oh, actually, we got the Regrowth Pendant going on in Malphite. He's going to be looking for the quick Philo Stone. Yorick with the Mechie Pendant looking for the early tier. So he's just more looking to sit up top, farm, more ghouls, the better.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yep.
It will be kind of an interesting matchup. Yorick, again, he does very well against Rumble early, but Rumble can snowball so well and then eventually just try and chase down Yorick. They are set up, though, and actually they might be able to catch Rumble out of position here.
They don't know he's there, but might as well blind bind into the brush. Hey, Curse got a little bit lucky on that one, but West Rice does flash over. Not quite sure what he was thinking he was going to get there.
Yeah,
but
and St. Vicious didn't level anything up. They knew that the bind hit, they knew it hit something, and he could have just quick leveled up that taunt and then just jumped right in the bush. They would have been able to pick up that kill, but unfortunately it didn't happen. It would have slowed down his jungle a little bit.
But here's the thing, when that bind, when the sound does go off, it's like, okay, you got somebody. You don't know how many
people are
You don't
there,
know how
true.
many of somebody. It could have been 1, it could have been 5. So, they went in, it was a right move. They're doing the cautious play. They want to go ahead and try and secure. But you see, though, mTw, they're paranoid right now. They're thinking that Curse is still up in their business. But there's sufficient wards down. And if any of them tries to get out of there, maybe even make a move towards the red.
I like so out of it. I am so tired. I didn't even realize this is why they are running the Yorick, and this is one of the most common reasons to run a Yorick, because you want to send the Yorick bot lane in a 1v2 situation, and that's. Yeah, my bad, but that's just like so. This is actually a really interesting strategy. I've seen Curse run it before, and they pass the blue off to the Yorick. top lane, they will be able to shut down Rumble very easily with the Vayne. Vayne's going to be able to farm very easily. Rumble is just going to be in such a hell of a lane. Like, it's going to be so painful. And then Yorick can come into this bottom lane and, you know, farm pretty successfully. He does have to worry a little bit about their kill potential, but Yorick or Urgot doesn't have a lot of burst. Urgot just has, you know, strong harass. And in the meantime,
my God, look at top lane.
Saint Vicious coming up here. Curse is completely serious about this game. They just want to take this out quickly, and they are making some really aggressive strategy moves here.
So there you go. You got Saint Vicious, you got Elements, and you got Cop. The taunt missing. Don manages to juke that out, but still, though, that's a lot of damage, forcing the potion. And they're just muscling Rumble.
And actually, Yorick going
he
over...
He still hasn't gotten here yet.
He still hasn't come to lane because he goes and he takes the Wolves. So picking up the blue and then coming and taking the Wolves so he can transition to bottom lane.
He's forcing MTWs, trying to make them push the wave into tower so he has an easier time farming.
Right, and they do very easily. He's going to be fine. He can just constantly spam. He can check the bush. Actually, Tarek coming in behind, but you know, it doesn't really matter. You get almost no damage onto Yorick. He can constantly regen.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be able to hold this lane very well, already getting a lot of damage back on the balls.
Nice.
And in the meantime, they're in control of this top lane as well. They can force Rumble into the tower. Shen actually zoning Mandatory Cloud here.
Nice. The end of the taunt does manage to hit. Plus, add on the bind on top of that will be enough damage. Night Jackie, one more. Just one. Oh no.
Wow.
Flashed, got out too early.
Barely not able to grab that. And I actually want to just show that once again because Saint comes in here. Actually, just a little bit further back. So coming forward, Saint, they're zoning him for a little bit, and he's just, you know, kind of walking back and forth, trying to bait out the taunt so he can flash afterwards. And, you know, if he had taunted a little bit too soon, then he would have been able to get that. But they are able to get out of there. So really nice play.
Yeah.
Just now, barely surviving.
But now you do see the bot lane. West Race is getting a lot of harass because now it's a 3-man situation gank. And there you go. First blood. West Rice has nowhere to go.
And that's the big issue with the 1v2 lane is Yorick can farm pretty safely in a 1v2. It's just whether or not they dive you for kills. And in that situation, you don't have any teammates for help. You know, 2v2, 2v3, you can figure it out. But really quickly, they're able to pick up a kill there. So nice job by mTw. Mandatory Cloud, he hasn't even gone back, just, you know, using a little bit of regen, just going to sit mid. Jackie, a little bit too low mana, doesn't have enough burst to take him down.
Yeah. But hopefully, well, when the next blue comes around in this kind of setup, are you going to pass, in this setup, are you going to pass the next blue to mid or to bot?
It depends. Morgana can go without the blue. It's based on how the lane is going. So, you know, if Yorick needs to stay bot, then he can hold on to it. But Yorick will probably transition back into the top lane before the next blue is up, or around the same time as the next blue. You know, it's not a permanent solution, clearly, so Curse will swap them back. They're probably going to try and aggressively push this tower, and they're constantly throwing Rumble into the wave, and he is behind. He's actually level 4, so he's doing decently right now. And actually, mTw, they have swapped their lane up here so that they can lane against Vayne. They want to be able to shut down Vayne. Shen is here, though. We'll see if they kind of pursue anything with that, or if they're just trying to prevent a gank.
Yeah, but the wave is too far pushed up. I don't think Saint Fish is actually going to be really getting a whole lot for that. So I think it might actually be in his best to just back off. Or if you're going to see Cop and Elements push so aggressively, maybe even just go to long way through the tri-brush from behind.
Yeah, and Malphite actually stealing the blue. Not sure where Saint is, but Saint probably, again, still waiting. But there's the ward, so he does have to get out of there.
Yeah.
But, you know, he knows top lane should be safe for a while. Malphite probably won't immediately engage up there.
So you have West Race, and you got Don now bot lane. 19 to 12. So there is still a farm advantage for West Rice. He's gonna have a little bit more gold in the wallet. So how does this match still, you know,
well, we talked about the Yorick Rumble, and
yeah.
it's a pretty even match right now. Yorick actually wins the match at this point, but Rumble starts to have enough damage where he can kind of chase down Yorick, particularly with ganks. They can be pretty aggressive. And Mandatory Cloud actually positioning nicely. The bind from Jackie, he isn't level 6 yet, but the taunt as well, and they can't take down Jackie fast enough. They don't have enough damage. So Xmithy coming in here, he has the red buff on St. Vicious, along with the shield. He's getting a lot of damage, but the bind, Jackie getting him out of there.
Nice. And now West Rice, he's trying to prove his muscle here to Rumble, but he's got the shield, he's got the flame splitter, and the ignite. Don might actually get the kill here. West Rice, he's got nowhere to go. The ignite, there you go. It's plenty of damage. Rumble getting that kill on the Yorick. Another swap, maybe?
No, they're not going to swap. Yorick's just going to sit in that lane and play defensively. So, I mean, you have to watch out for Rumble's damage. That's always a concern. Oh, yeah, actually, sorry, yes, they will swap at this point to get Yorick up top.
It's
I,
late.
they won't swap to get Yorick away from Rumble. Rumble's going to have to swap top once again, but Yorick will probably swap top just to lane against the Urgot Tarek and get the lane back down bottom so that they can pressure the Dragon.
Elements harassing Xmithy out of the jungle, but that does let mTw know that Curse is looking for that transition, that swap once again. But then again, you also got Vayne, Cop already ahead of the game, looking to farm under tower bot lane. But now you see, once again, now the swaps are going to keep on happening over and over. Don now actually making his way top lane. Urgot should be recalling soon to go and transition once again to bot.
Yeah, now here's the issue. Vayne is going to be farming pretty successfully because of these swaps. Rumble's put a little bit behind because of these swaps, but he does get a kill against Yorick, so that puts him ahead. But the big issue, when you're swapping these lanes back and forth, you tend to forget about mid lane. So as a result, Mandatory Cloud is going to be able to farm very successfully. He's already up. Actually, Morgana and him are pretty even, but Morgana up slightly, but he is farming pretty well. And if Mordekaiser can farm, he's one of the best farmers in the game, then later on, he's going to have the damage to control the fights.
And now you see, with the swap happening, once again, Rumble has a bunch of damage, and Westeros is already, he's hurting. He's hurting real bad.
Yeah.
His mana is very low.
He doesn't have a tier yet, which is the big issue.
He bought the cloth
needs to
armor.
have a tier by now.
He bought the cloth armor, which unfortunately against Rumble doesn't do a hell of a lot.
It's kind of surprising because you expect to swap the lane out of there. He really didn't even need the cloth armor against Urgot. He could have played defensively, but I think he was concerned about them diving. Wasn't really sure how long he would stay in this lane, which to me seems like maybe they haven't run this lane or practiced this as much as they would like to. Maybe they're having some issues there, but we'll see how that kind of transitions because they know that he's going to be laning against Rumble for most of the game. But Morgana coming down, will try and steal this.
Mandatory Cloud is pretty low. Nijaki does have the ult, but there you go. Mordekaiser ult going down onto Morgana. Nice bind to get away, but the ult from Malphite may be more than enough, and there you go. Enjoy.
Yeah, Mordekaiser actually counters out a lot of AP mids very successfully. As far as lane control is concerned, St. Vicious jumping into Rumble, but yeah, it's only going to threaten himself, so he has to get out of there. Curse has sent their lane back top once again, so I'm surprised that they're switching the lane this late because it results in a good situation for mTw. Immediately, they transition right over to this.
By the way, your AD and your supporter top lane, there's nothing they can do about this here. And MTW will grab this dragon uncontested, and their gold lead is pretty
here's
ridiculous.
The issue. Mordekaiser against AP champions, particularly someone like Morgana, who has a little bit of burst damage, but doesn't have good sustained damage. He just shields the burst damage, so the nukes are gone. He shields through it, he regens through it as well, and then Morgana has no damage remaining or has no mana remaining, and so they're actually transitioning right into this mid tower, going to push this extremely aggressively, and everything is working for mTw right now, completely countering against them. The Shen ult actually, and Morgana coming in as well. Muffin Cutie very close to going down. They're actually just going to go for him, so taking down the support. They should be able to get it, but Muffin Cutie actually walking out. He does get ignited.
There's the bind going down onto Malphite. He's stuck in the tormented soil. St. Vicious, there you go. The taunt once again should have more than enough damage. The flash, I'm not sure if he's getting out alive. Just barely. There you go.
The pool just barely getting him.
Nice pool.
Yeah, and actually the exhaust Rumble has to flash out of there. Almost going down. Cop and Elements kind of, abusing him a little bit. But he does have enough damage with a gank. With Malphite in particular, they can really quickly take them down. And he can still clear creep waves with his ultimate, which is something you commonly see from Rumble when you just want to kind of get out of lane. Some mid-pushing happening, but not really a whole lot. And Mandatory Cloud should basically be fine to just farm mid the entire game.
Nice bind from Nijaki down in Mandatory Cloud just to stay away, but you got wards, you can have everything covered, and you got Rumble, you got Mordekaiser. That's a lot of AP damage. I mean, double Woda is a possibility. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing it, but it is always going to be there. Mid game possibly, late game definitely.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice late game. It's too expensive. There's no reason that they would want to finish Woda this early. Though sometimes Rumble does get Woda early. I think we saw it the other game. There was a game recently where he got Woda early. But usually you want to get stronger AP items. Woda just doesn't give you enough bang for its buck at this point in time until later in the game. So we'll have to see. I'm kind of curious how Mordekaiser is going to build because Mordekaiser builds have changed a lot over time. Like there was a time where you would start off with like a gunblade, for instance, and then with the gunblade you get the slow, you just burst someone down, and so you just have enough kill potential, you just insta-kill someone basically. Then, it transitions into things like Rabadons and Rylai's. You see some Mordekaisers going more tanky builds, getting like a fast GA.
Yeah.
Some Mordekaisers, getting Deathfires now. McSmithy's setting up bottom. They probably have enough kill potential, but Shen is coming down, so they do have to watch out for that.
Yeah. I think Rylai's may actually be a little bit of a possibility too, because you have the rest of your team.
Yeah, that's kind of the most common.
You got Rumble, you got Urgot. You're already naturally building tanky. Just more health stacked on top of that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the most common ones, just to get a little bit of health. So we'll have to see how he kind of builds. I mean, they need the burst damage though, because they want to take out Vayne. Malphite coming mid, can't quite get in on Nijaki, and Taric just still sitting here zoning Cop.
Just chilling. Chilling in the bush,
actually,
waiting for his opportunity.
This is kind of interesting because they have the ward right in the middle of the lane, just so that they can't, hide around the corner or can't hold a gank here. So if they want to engage on Cobb, they can't hide a gank from like Shen or something right there.
Nice bind mid on a mandatory call. He's taking a little bit extra damage. Nijaki is going in. He's got the ult. Second part. There's a stun. Saint Vicious here with the taunt. Keeping mandatory cloud still there. Torment Soil going down. But will Nijaki actually go down first and sees the Malphite coming in? The ult. Will he be able to get something here? But mandatory cloud managing to escape as well. But here comes Rumble. Is the ult up? It is available. But Saint Vicious, he's now trying to make the long run to safety. But he can still get a kill on mandatory cloud here if he's not careful. There you go, shield proccing something. No, not enough.
Yeah, so he's fine. And you see there, Morgana blew everything.
Yeah.
Saint Vicious came in as well, and they just didn't have enough damage to take out Mordekaiser, which is, why he's really nice against someone like Morgana when you have a defensive jungler like Shen, who just really doesn't bring a lot of damage to the table on his own. In the meantime, Vayne had started off really well. She's still doing pretty well, but Urgot pulling a little bit ahead. He hasn't some nice control over that lane. Taric, trying to zone a little bit. But the big thing is that Rumble, he's farming. He has 1 kill. Yorick is pretty even with him, but it's still an issue. The Shen ultimate actually right on top of Elements and turning it onto Muffin Cutie, so you do pick up that kill.
Real quick kill, very convenient kill, and that's, I was kind of wondering to myself too, like why St. Vicious didn't actually use the Shen ult mid. And, now that I look back and think about it, I was like, oh, I mean, if you saw the Shen ult, then board probably would have like flashed away or something, but... No, I find that I like that that's a much better application. But in the meantime, though, Don is bot lane and manages to get the tier 1.
Yeah, and they do grab the blue, giving it to Shen actually. So that helps speed up his jungle a little bit. They might actually tower dive this, but it's kind of difficult to tower dive an Urgot. Rumble in the meantime coming after Yorick and will be chasing him down, and they are tower diving top. And Yorick very close to going down. The ultimate with the ignite, it's just not enough. Can he live? He does actually barely live. And now Nunu tanking it, and Saint Vicious and Cop coming in. The swap. And there's the big issue, is that he's going to just swap and flash right out. So you need to make sure that you have whoever is going to be swapped surrounded on both sides. You can't allow Urgot to swap out like that. And that's why it's just so difficult, to gank an Urgot from just one direction.
Urgot swap can be used defensively. Now you know. And now you can go ahead and take that with you into solo queue or normals, or nice little tips. We're still learning a little bit more about the game. Really, every game we're casting, just nice little tidbits here and there. But there you go. Who's going to be past the blue? Mordekaiser. Well, then again, cooldown reduction. Might as well just give it to the Malphite. They'll have double buff. They'll be amazing for the ganks, and just the cooldown reduction is going to be helpful for the ult as well.
Yeah, and so. They do kind of have to sit back.
Oh, Nijaki might be in a bad spot here. Does get pinged out, and there's Smithy. Sees everything. There is Morgana, though. With the ult, the chain breaks, but the bind still hits. And Nijaki just had to blow ult just to escape. But there you go. Dragon is back up. mTw is in town. They're just going to go ahead, sweep it real quick, and then move on.
Yeah, and so mTw... they're only slightly ahead, but with the kind of team that they have a really high damage team that's also fairly tanky. So it's going to be kind of difficult. They can just lay down all of their magic damage, burst some people down, and Curse is going to have kind of a difficult time with it. And one of the big issues is Cop. He's going to have to buy a quick Silver Sash this game. Like, there's almost no question about it for both Urgot and for Mordekaiser. He could kind of sit back, but he really needs to get one. But the issue is that that's going to delay a lot of his damage, and they really need Cop to have damage as well. So, that kind of having to make that kind of decision, that kind of choice, between that survivability and the fact that if Mordekaiser gets a ghost, your team is going to lose, versus not having enough damage in a fight. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah. But I am noticing this, though. Yorick, West Race, he's actually been doing an okay job of catching up. I mean, he's just been bot lane, farming whenever he gets a chance. Granted, yeah, the damage from Rumble's pretty immense, but he's only, considering the situation, he's just like 1 minion away from actually doing 11. Granted, yes, he's a full level behind Don at the moment, but considering his start, it's not too bad, and he's finally got his tier. He's got the Philo, so he's got a GP10. Probably going to be working for the Merc Treads next. Still wondering about that cloth armor purchase, though.
Yeah, though, I mean, he has stabilized, so,
yeah.
you know, that's fine. He's been able to farm. He's keeping almost even with Rumble. He's just going to kind of get himself into the later in the game, and he's going to be a tanky body. He's going to be able to throw off, you know, some disables, his slows, to try and kite the team a little bit.
The ult on Vayne is going to be the big one.
Right, well, yeah, I mean, you know, clearly they picked the Yorick for the ult on Vayne, and all he needs to do is kind of just sit there.
So there you go. You got the pink ward actually over right by actually down the river. So they did have vision right in front of the Baron pit. mTw going to go ahead and clear that ward up pretty easy. Mid tier 1 is really weak at the moment. Like one errant wave and just a little bit of assistance can go ahead and take that thing down real quick. But you see mTw, they're getting they're getting their ward coverage up around Baron, and granted, you know, they have damage. But I think it's a little bit too early to tell about that. But they can go ahead to swap from Urgot down onto Shen. St. Vicious is a little bit out of his element and really quick damage. I think he died mid-dash there. That was a quick kill.
Yeah, they just have enough damage. There was really nothing for him to do at that point. So they are able to take down this turret. You know, so 2 turrets down. mTw building themselves a nice lead.
They're still going
right now.
They're still going. They still want to try and pressure down to tier 2 here.
They're going to have to stop. Vayne and Nunu will be able to hold them off, but we'll see. Actually, they might poke it a little bit. I'm actually kind of surprised they're still going for this.
Oh, there you go.
Actually
There's
with
the stun, forcing the cleanse down onto Vayne. The Rumble ult, keeping Vayne still, but Elements is caught out a little bit, but flashing over the wall is not going to be enough. Granted, Cop is still here. There's a lot of damage on balls. Where's the lock-on?
Oh.
Almost had it. If he had that lock-on, that could have been death.
Yeah, and Vayne just getting caught out. Morgana comes in.
Oh,
will have the
Nijaki.
ultimate, but just no damage to follow it up. So Nijaki, I'm not really sure what the decision is here. St. Vicious not getting the taunt, and
Taunts.
so Balls turning back into him. St. Vicious very close to going down.
Yeah.
Muff and Cutie will be
The
able to get the
lock-on,
stun here.
one more. There you go. Holy, it's Don going to grab that kill. St. Vicious just, he was taunting the trees just for a second there.
But it was unusual. Even if, you know, he had hit the taunt, I'm
Yeah.
not sure that they had enough damage for the Rumble. It was just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was a very difficult fighting situation that Curse just, I don't know, they just kind of decided to go for it. And they weren't really that far behind. They're behind, but I don't know, maybe they feel more behind than they are, and they're kind of just like, you know, whatever, we're going to go for whatever kills we can get.
Yeah, but also looking on the items being purchased here for mTw, you got the load on Mordekaiser, and you got the Rylai's on Rumble. The items I was expecting the other to actually buy are now on the kind of swapped and kind of flip-flopped a little bit there. But you got the Frozen Heart onto Urgot. That's going to help immensely for Vayne. What else we got here? You got stacking GP10s there onto Malphite. He's got the Glacial Shred as well. He's going to be getting a Frozen Heart of his own. But there's the thing though, Nijaki, you got the Abyssal, you got the Dorans, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Abyssal's very nice for their team, though.
Yeah.
Nijaki has been farming decently. We'll be able to grab the blue, and that'll be nice. He has the oracles. We'll be clearing a little bit. I like the Abyssal for both team, and it increases your damage output. Particularly for Mordekaiser, it gives him a little bit more survivability, and then gives him a little bit more burst damage. Coupled with Rumble, the fact that he's increasing Rumble's damage is fantastic.
Oh.
Morgana, on the other hand, they don't really have a lot of magic damage. So a lot of times when you don't have a lot, you'll go for it.
Cop
but
is
Mandatory
being
Cloud,
pinged out. He does take the red, but he's got to get out of here real quick. Mandatory Cloud is nearby, and there's the ult from Malphite. There you go. That's how you do the Mordekaiser ult, getting the Vayne Ghost before Yorick could ever get there. And it is now a 6v3 for the time being, and that is a Baron, especially with the help of Cop.
Yeah, and Shen's bot, he's pushing. They know that they, don't really have much hope of fighting this, so they will be able to get mid and bot turrets. So, that'll help them stall a little bit. Rumble actually coming back mid to try and stall his push, but it's already going down. They do have the Baron, and Rumble actually just now, he's going to try and keep them in range so he can try and pull them off, but the snare from Nijeki does keep Yorick alive.
Somehow the turret actually lives, just like with... Okay, there it goes. Oh, actually, no, that was bot. That was bot.
So mid turret did just barely live, though.
So there you go. Now you got Kurt. You got mTw. Almost like, yeah. You got mTw with Baron. They're having a huge, huge game here at the moment. It's a 7.5K lead in terms of gold. They just got Baron. For the next few minutes, they're going to be absolute monsters. Can pressure any objective they want. Saintfish is trying to make the best of the situation, stealing whatever farm he can, but he should be recalling pretty soon, else he'd be caught out by the Rumble and then killed. But you got Muffin Cutie playing the point, and Curse, they're doing what they can to try and push the lanes, to try and still show some level of aggression, but they really want this tower. That thing's a hit down. At the very least, that's the last objective they can get before they go defense mode.
Yeah, and so they are actually going to chase down Nijeki a little bit, but he should be able to get out of there. The big thing is Nijeki, they need the shields onto Vayne and try and protect Vayne in some way, but Vayne has a decent amount of damage this game, but just not enough, and none of them have enough damage.
Oh,
Malphite
there's the Malphite ult right in the middle. Cop this time does get Yorick ulted, but just waiting for it to explode. Oh, he's still got the Mordekaiser Ghost sitting there. I think the Yorick ult has actually expired now, but Cop does manage to get the kill on the Muffin Cutie. X-Smithy there. Yes, kill from Rumble down to the Vayne, and there is lots of mayhem. Lots of mayhem going down. Rumble running amok, double kill. Mordekaiser doing pretty good for himself. Triple kill for Rumble. Double kill for Mord.
Yeah, and I think the big thing to consider is that started off as like a 5v3.
It did.
And
that's it. There's a surrender. Curse knows.
They know it's over.
There you go. Game 1 in the second set going to mTw. There you go. If mTw manages to win the next game, it's over. They win first seed and $1,000. This is, you know what? I think we should just go ahead, go right to commercial, come on back, and just start banging these games out. So, shall we?
Yeah.
All right,
definitely.
go to commercial. We'll be back in a second. Game 2, set 2, mTw.NA and Curse IPL Face Off qualifiers.